What's up, friends? It's Volt Firecore. As you saw by the title, today we're going to actually be doing a tier list, which we haven't done in a very long time. Now, I've been focusing a lot on Emerald gameplay, Pokemon Showdown gameplay, a bunch of that kind of stuff. So tier list kind of fell off for me. But since at the moment I am re-downloading Splatoon, since it's always fun to go back to that game, mess around in it. I suck at it, but this isn't something that involves any skill. This is just ranking all the hair types. So there aren't that many, and the Octolings only were given two pieces of hair, respectively for the genders, which I think is a little cheap. But we're going to rank the Octoling and the Inkling hairstyles for Splatoon 2. So I do play the female one, so I'm a little biased towards those. But if I put your favorite hairstyle in like a D tier or something, don't hate me. That's just my opinion. I'm going to try to make this pretty jokey, so don't take this too seriously. So starting off, we have the first one, which is this spiky hairdo. I don't really know what to call it. Um, to be honest, it kind of looks like he has a piece of broken plywood on his head. I'm not going to say that's a bad thing. It's pretty sick, kind of, but it's it's very simple. It's just a little piece of hair and then some spikes on it. I don't really see anyone running this piece of hair, so I'm just going to put this inside of a B tier since I don't really know too much about it. Now on to a classic, the short bob or just the short Inkling girl hair. This is like yeah, it's an icon. Like you see this running around all over the place. I like it. I think it's pretty good, so I'm gonna put it inside of an A tier. Now on to one that you see usually the tryhards running. So if you're going against any like insanely good players, I don't know why, but they always have this hairdo. Now, to be honest, it's pretty cool. It's like they knot their hair or their tentacles on the top of their head, which is a little weird, but I can see why people like it. So I'm gonna put it inside of a let's say an A tier for now. I might mix this around. Now on to the weird swerve or the the flop. I don't know what I call this. They just have their hair flopped over to one side, kind of looking like Skrillex, but whatever they want. I'm gonna put this inside of a high B tier since I don't really see many people using this, but it's cool when I do see it. Now the greaser hair, the slick back. This dude is the cool customer inside the lobby, and usually well, this is just a generalization, but whenever I see this hair, I automatically think the noob who just got the game. But if you run this hair and you're like amazing at the game, then you're beyond me. But this is a pretty cool hairdo, just not for me. So low B tier. Now on to the OG, the OG Inkling girl hair. Like you can't go wrong with it. It's just you got them long hairs or tentacles just sitting out there. So I'm gonna put this at a high A tier. You can't not like it. It's just it's the original. It's in Smash. It got like the representation. Now this one is kind of funny. So this one is at least to me known as the in bed by 7 o'clock hairdo. Now I'm not saying you're a child or a little kid if you use this haircut. It's just it makes your character look like they're a child. If you use this, cool, but it looks like the stereotype of a nerd or a small young child who has his father who's a chimney sweep. And if he's a chimney sweep, then this little kid's going to be spending most of his time down inside of the low C tier. But he's going to have some company down there with the Drake hair. Now, I'm not going to say this is a bad haircut. It's just, you know, I think some copyright could happen since this looks almost identical to a Drake hairdo. But in all seriousness, I don't really see many people running this hairdo since either they're wearing hats so it covers their head so I can't see, or they're just, not using it. So I don't see this too much, but when I do, I can't help but laugh since it looks a lot like Drake. And I'm not going to say I don't like Drake. I'm just going to say that it's not the hairdo for me, so I'm going to put this inside of a C tier. Now, the worst picture is actually the first S tier, which is the spaghetti head. Now, spaghetti head, I wasn't actually a big fan of. I used to, like I just said, call it spaghetti head. they got little noodles on their head, and I thought it was pretty ugly looking. But then I started to use it myself, and this is the main hairdo that I like to use inside of Splatoon. So I have a bit bias towards Spaghetti Head, but it's a pretty cool hairdo. Okay, now the side sweeper or whatever. Now I think this, in my opinion, is the best male hairdo. Now I'm not gonna say it's it's perfect, but I think if you're gonna pick a male hairdo, that's a pretty good hairdo to pick, and it was the first hairdo that I picked since when I first got the game. I was a dude, but then I turned even more into a weeb and started running the females since I'm that kind of guy. But then this is the first Octoling skin. I do not have the Octo expansion since I don't want to spend that kind of money for a game that I don't play too consistently. But this is the Ponytail. Now, this might look like a ponytail, but this is a weird head knot. This is an actual ponytail with a scrunchie on, and I think it's pretty cool. Like, shows off the nice forehead, and it's a nice skin or a nice hairdo. So I'm gonna put this right there. I think it's a little bit better than these two. I'm noticing that a lot of the male hairdos are kind of low, so you know, let's just forget that. Okay, now the original Octoling girl hairdo. Now, I think this is actually a pretty sick hairdo. Like, I've seen it a million times, but I still think it's really cool looking. So this is another S tier. If you're going to run the Octoling, usually this is the one most people use. But the ponytail's sick too. Then on to the bangs or the snip. Now, the snip is cool. Like, it's really cool, but it's not one that I have ever used. I just think it's a little abrupt in how it ends. So it's not a horrible haircut, but I'm going to put it at the low end of B tier. Another OG, the original Inkling boy ponytail. I'm just going to have to slap this right next to the Inkling girl original hairdo since they're just so similar. Like, when you think of Splatoon, you think of this dude being blue and this lady being orange, shooting each other. That's what I think of when I think of Splatoon. We only have two left, which are the two Octoling male hairdos. One of them being the Mohawk, and I'm pretty sure this is the equivalent to these two. Like, this is the one that most people think of when they think of Octoling dude. And it's it's a Mohawk, but a pretty cool idea for a Mohawk. It's like a tentacle through the head. Now I think the Drake hairdo, it has the shortcut, but this is pretty much a shortcut with the tentacle on the top, which I think is really cool looking. So this isn't an S tier, but this is definitely a high A tier. I think this is a very awesome skin, especially if you're going to play the Octoling male. And to be honest, I think the color is kind of ruining this skin a little bit for me since it's it kind of makes him look like a piece of broccoli. But let's just forget the color and think about this inside of a different way. So this is the second option for the Octolings, being the the big poofy head or the Bob Ross head. Now afros are sick, but I just don't really know how to feel about afros. I'm pretty sure inside of Splatoon, if you put on like a hat or something, it like squishes it down, and it's cool looking, but it's also really weird, especially since it's like a weird tentacle instead of actually hair. So I think it's a good skin. It's just nothing that I would probably use. I'm gonna put this right here. But that's the end of my Splatoon 2 hair tier list. We had no D tier since I don't think any of these skins are bad. It's just I think some of them, personally, are the ones that I would use. But please don't get mad at me. And with that being said, thank you guys for watching, and keep on looking for my videos.